Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister showed a lack of seriousness in this House about Chinese interference in funding election candidates. But he found it serious enough to ask his intelligence service to get to the bottom of the situation, and he was right in that. China is interfering more and more in our democracy. The Prime Minister even spoke to the Chinese president about it at the G20. What the global report showed is at the very least flagrant weaknesses in the political financing system. The Prime Minister can fix this right away. It's simple. Will he bring back public financing for political parties? The Right Honorable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, our political financing system at the federal level is one of the most transparent, accountable, and robust of any level of government. If the Bloc Québécois has a hard time getting money from Canadians, that's the Bloc's problem. But we will continue to follow the rules. We will continue to fundraise publicly. And we will continue to place trust in the system that we have, instead of wanting to create new systems to help the Bloc Québécois. The Honourable Member, the Prime Minister should be ashamed of what he said. It's incredible. Political parties' dependence on donations creates unhealthy conditions favoring undue influence. We already know this. The Prime Minister should know. He spent his first term in trouble because he was leveraging his presence at fancy cocktail parties with business people at $1,500 a head. The global report showed that this same weakness can be exploited by foreign powers who want to influence our democracy, and China is probably already doing that. The Prime Minister should apply the precautionary principle. I know he's not too familiar with that, but he needs to become so. When will he bring back public funding for political parties? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, political financing in Canada is a robust and transparent system. Perhaps indeed the Bloc has trouble raising money. But the reality is that all political parties engage with Canadians, and the Liberal Party is doing so in an open and transparent manner. The media are invited to all my fundraising events. And I would encourage the leaders of the Bloc Québécois and the Conservative Party to do the same. We will always be open and transparent about our fundraising, because Canadians need to be able to trust our democracy.
Mr. Speaker, let me sum it all up. According to Global News, there was Chinese interference in the 2019 election. At least 11 candidates are believed to have been funded by China. Intelligence agencies reportedly notified the Prime Minister's office as early as January of this year. We've been trying to get to the bottom of this, but there's no clear answers from the Prime Minister nor from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, as if secrecy somehow served democracy. I'll put the question another way. Are we to understand that the global news story is fake news? The Honourable Minister of Public Safety. Mr. Speaker, we take all threats of foreign interference very seriously. And that's why we created not just one, but two independent panels that confirmed the results of both elections, both in 2019 and 2021. And we will continue to provide the National Security Committee all the tools it needs, and the Public Safety Committee as well, so that they can protect our democratic institutions. Thank you. The Honourable Member for Salaberry-sur-Roi. Mr. Speaker, let's say there was no Chinese interference in the financing of 11 candidates, let's just say. But we do know there's a real risk. Just think of the Chinese researchers at the Winnipeg lab, the undercover Chinese police stations in Toronto, or the spying at Hydro-Quebec. To believe there's no threat of Chinese interference in the election process is, let's just say, naive. Instead of bluster, will the government recognize that public funding of political parties would be a good way to protect the integrity of our elections? The Honourable Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs. Mr. Speaker, we obviously share the colleagues' sentiments about how important it is to protect our election system and our elections, and that's why our government did take action years back by setting up a panel set up by the Clerk of the Privy Council and intelligence experts, specifically to ensure that Canadian elections are free and open. And that's what was confirmed in 2019, and good news, Mr. Speaker, in 2021 as well.